Number 7. Conformal cyclic cosmology. Ever wonder what happened before the Big Bang? Our minds always crave a clear beginning. We picture a spark in the void, then total expansion. But one celebrated physicist suggests something far more mind-bending.
What if our universe's birth is just the frozen ghost of a previous one? Welcome to the cycle of conformal cyclic cosmology.
Reality isn't a straight line. It's an infinite loop of aeons. To see the past, we must first travel to the end. Fast forward trillions of years. The cosmic lights are going out. The very last stars are flickering into cold, fallen embers.
Galaxies dissolve into nothingness.
But even these giants fall. Through Hawking radiation, they slowly evaporate over trillions of years until they vanish into thin air.
Only massless photons remain, drifting forever in a cold, expanding void. Here, Penrose.
Only supermassive black holes remain, feasting on the final dust. But even these cosmic titans aren't eternal. Time claims everything. Over uncounted googolpla of years, they evaporate through Hawking radiation. Eventually, the very last black hole simply pops out of existence,
leaving a universe of massless particles, mostly photons, drifting endlessly through an ever-expanding, cold.
Here, Penrose's mathematical genius reveals a chilling truth. For massless particles traveling at light speed, time...
Large and small, past and future, they all break down.
It mirrors an infinitely dense, hot singularity. The end of one expanding universe scales seamlessly into the fiery birth of another. The dramatic moment of the previous aeon didn't just precede our Big Bang. It became our Big Bang, a cycle of resurrection.
Nobel laureate Sir Roger Penrose drops a cosmic bombshell. What if our Big Bang was actually the frozen finale of a previous universe?
Fast forward trillions of years. The last stars flicker out like falling candles. Only supermassive black holes remain, cosmic scavengers in the void. But even these giants eventually evaporate. When the final black hole vanishes, the universe becomes a ghost town of massless photons, drifting forever through an ever-expanding hollow void.
Here's the kicker. For particles at light speed, time and space simply stop existing. The very concepts of big and small totally collapse.
Mathematically, this vast, cold graveyard is similar to a hot, dense singularity.
Is there proof? Penrose points to Hawking points, strange rings of energy in the cosmic microwave background, scars from black holes of the past.
Proof? Penrose points to Hawking points, strange energy rings in the CMB, ghostly scars left by black holes from a previous universe.
If he's right, we're living in the graveyard of a fallen cosmos. Just one tick in an infinite cycle of cosmic resurrections.
Number 6. Quantum fluctuation from nothing. Our brains demand a cause. If there's a universe, surely something must have sparked it into being.
But at the subatomic level, logic fails. Particles routinely pop into existence out of thin air, defying everything we think we know.
Cosmologists suggest our universe didn't come from something. It emerged from a literal quantum void. The Big Bang? Just a random glitch.
To grasp this, forget what you know about nothing. In physics, a perfect vacuum isn't empty. It's a boiling cauldron of energy.
The Heisenberg uncertainty principle dictates that a system can never have zero energy. Even the void is alive with hidden potential.
Virtual particles are constantly tearing themselves out of the void, existing for a mere nanosecond before annihilating each other in a flash.
Some physicists claim these circular scars are real. If they're right, the empty space you see at night isn't the first reality.
We're actually drifting through the ghostly graveyard of a fallen cosmos. Our universe is just one tick on an infinite clock. It's a cycle of cosmic resurrections, destined to fall and be reborn. Next up, number 6, quantum fluctuation from nothing.
Our brains call out for a cause. If there's a universe, something must have made it, right? Well, quantum mechanics doesn't care.
At the subatomic level, the rules of cause and effect just vanish.
Imagine applying that weirdness to the whole universe.
It suggests we didn't come from something. We came from a quantum void.
The Big Bang wasn't a grand design. It was a random quantum glitch. To get this, you have to understand nothing. In physics, a perfect vacuum isn't empty. Even if you strip away every atom and photon, the void still boils with energy.
Mathematically speaking, the universe is the ultimate free lunch. Before the Big Bang, there was only the quantum vacuum.
A timeless, spaceless state of pure potential.
Normally, such a bubble would instantly collapse back into the void, just like a virtual particle popping out. But by sheer statistical chance, this specific bubble contained a configuration of vacuum energy that caused it to rapidly expand.
This process, called inflation, was so fast that the bubble became separated from the quantum foam, locking it into reality.
The unsettling implication is that reality itself is just a statistical accident. There was no grand design or underlying purpose.
We are the byproduct of a temporary quantum glitch that managed to inflate before the universe could correct itself.
We exist simply because, in a state of absolute nothingness, nothingness is inherently unstable. It was bound to happen.
One of the greatest failures of modern science is the singularity. When cosmologists run the expansion backward, everything shrinks. General relativity gives up, producing mathematical infinities that call out our equations are wrong. The Big Bang Theory has a massive blind spot.
Quantum cosmology attempts to fix this by erasing the singularity entirely, replacing it with something far more intense, the Big Bounce.
It proposes that space-time isn't smooth. Like a digital photo, it's made of individual pixels or loops. There's a fundamental size limit.
Imagine watching the universe run in reverse. Galaxies rush together, and the cosmos becomes a blindingly hot plasma, shrinking smaller and smaller.
In the standard model, this continues into infinity. But here, the universe connects a physical roadblock.
Suddenly, gravity undergoes a bizarre transformation. Instead of pulling matter together, it becomes highly repulsive. The cosmic brakes slam on hard.
What we call the Big Bang wasn't a beginning. It was a bounce. The explosive exhalation of a universe.
Sir Roger Penrose suggests our Big Bang was just the frozen end of a previous universe. We might see the scars of this past life as Hawking points, rings of energy left by ancient black holes.
Or maybe there was no cause. Quantum mechanics says particles and entire universes can simply pop out of absolute nothingness.
It's the ultimate free lunch. Add up all matter and gravity, and the total energy of the universe is exactly zero.
Quantum cosmology erases the singularity. It views space not as a fabric, but as a network of indivisible loops.
In this model, the Big Bang was a big bounce. A previous universe collapsed until gravity turned repulsive, triggering an energy burst. Then there's the ekrotic model. Our universe is a membrane floating in a higher dimension, born from a titanic collision.
Finally, eternal inflation suggests we are just one bubble in a boiling ocean of universes, each with its own laws. Trillions of years from now, the last stars will burn out. Galaxies will dissolve into the dark, cold void. Only supermassive black holes will remain, slowly feeding on dust. But even they aren't eternal. They eventually evaporate. Through Hawking radiation, the last black hole pops out of existence. We're left with a universe of only massless particles. For massless particles like photons, time and distance literally cease to exist. The concepts of past and future completely break down.
The geometry of this infinitely vast, fallen universe becomes mathematically similar to an infinitely dense, hot.
The heat dramatic moment of the previous aeon didn't just precede our Big Bang, it actually became our Big Bang. Mind-blowing, right? It might be testable. Scientists are searching the cosmic microwave background for Hawking points, gravitational scars from the universe before ours.
Circular patterns in the data? If true, the night sky is just a rerun of a much older show.
We're basically living in a cosmic graveyard. Our universe is just one tick of a clock in an endless cycle of resurrections.
Number 6, quantum fluctuation. We crave causality, but the universe might just be a massive oops that popped out of nowhere.
Quantum mechanics ignores your logic. At the subatomic level, particles just show up uninvited,
breaking every rule of cause and effect.
Apply that to everything, and you get a wild theory. The entire universe didn't come from something. It came from absolute nothingness.
A literal quantum void birthed the Big Bang. It was a random glitch. But to get this, you have to redefine nothing.
In physics, nothing is actually quite busy. Even a perfect vacuum boils with energy, like a cosmic pot about to overflow.
Heisenberg says zero energy is impossible. So, virtual particles are constantly ripping themselves out of the void for a split second.
Basically, we're just a cosmic oopsie. A quantum glitch that blew up before the universe could connect the delete button.
Turns out, nothing is just too unstable to stay quiet. Now, let's talk about the big bounce and loop quantum cosmology.
The singularity is science's biggest I give up moment. Rewind the clock, and everything gets impossibly small and hot.
We're talking infinite heat and density. At this point, our math just breathes, and physics throws in the towel.
Relativity call out in intensity here. The Big Bang explains what happened after, but it's clueless about the actual beginning.
It's like starting a movie 5 minutes in. We see the action, but we miss the opening credits entirely.
Quantum cosmology fixes this by ditching the singularity for something way more metal. The Big Bounce. No end, just rebounds.
Think of space like a digital photo. Zoom in far enough, and you'll see the individual pixels of reality itself.
One of the greatest failures of modern science is the singularity. It's the point where our math just breaks.
When we run the clock backward, everything shrinks to an infinitely dense point. At that moment, math call out error.
General relativity gives up here, producing mathematical infinities that tell us our equations are simply wrong.
Loop quantum cosmology tries to fix this by erasing the singularity and replacing it with something far more intense.
It proposes that space isn't a smooth fabric. Like a photo, it's made of finite, indivisible loops woven together.
There's a fundamental limit to how small space can be, the Planck length. You can't compress reality past this point. Imagine the universe in reverse. Galaxies rush together, the background heats up, and everything becomes a blindingly hot plasma.
At that limit, gravity flips. Instead of pulling, it pushes back with cosmic force. The Big Bang was a bounce.
I've had enough of this. I'm leaving.
Fine, go then. See if I care.
Quantum cosmology suggests space isn't smooth. It's woven from finite, indivisible loops, like pixels in a cosmic photograph.
There's a fundamental limit to how small space can be, the Planck length. You simply can't powerful force matter smaller than this.
Imagine reversing time. Galaxies rush together, the background heats up, and the universe shrinks into a blindingly hot plasma.
In standard models, this collapse goes to infinity. But here, the universe connects a quantum roadblock it can't pass.
At that extreme density, gravity pulls a U-turn. It stops attracting and starts pushing back with unimaginable repulsive force. This implies an eternal chain of transformation. We're just living on the debris of a fallen cosmos, waiting for the next crunch.
Buckle up for number 4, the ekpyrotic brane collision model. It's as wild as it sounds.
Most of what we call reality is confined to a surface, a membrane floating through a much larger volume. This volume is known as the bulk.
Think of our universe as a single sheet of paper drifting in a massive, invisible room. We're stuck on the surface. But here's the kicker. We aren't alone. The bulk is crowded with other sheets, other branes, and entirely different universes.
Over eons, gravity leaks across these dimensions, acting like a cosmic magnet, slowly pulling.
Then, boom! 2 infinite realities powerful impact together across the 4th dimension.
That massive impact converts raw kinetic energy into matter and radiation, igniting our universe with a blinding.
This cosmic wreck is what we call the Big Bang. And the dramatic part? It's destined to happen again and again.
Big bounce implies an eternal chain of transformation. We're basically squatting on the wreckage of a fallen cosmos. Talk about a fixer-upper.
Inevitably, our universe will connect the brakes, pull a U-turn, and powerful force everything back down to the absolute quantum limit. No escape.
This triggers the next Big Bang in a cycle of cosmic intensity. It's a loop with no beginning and absolutely no end.
Number 4, the Ekberg model. Forget everything you know. Our universe isn't the only show in town. It's just one small part.
Reality is way bigger than our 3 dimensions. In M theory, our universe is just a brane, a thin membrane drifting in the void.
Floating in a higher dimensional space called the bulk. Think of a single sheet of paper drifting in a massive, empty room. That paper is us. But the bulk is crowded. There are other sheets, other branes, and other universes out there, just out of reach.
Before our Big Bang, our brane was a cold, fallen wasteland, hanging right next to another invisible universe. A cold, fallen wasteland hung next to another invisible universe. A cosmic collision was waiting to happen.
Imagine 2 cosmic sheets drifting in a dark room. Gravity, leaking from higher dimensions, pulls them into a fatal embrace.
BAM. The collision of these infinite branes across the 4th dimension is the real spark behind our Big Bang.
That impact converted raw motion into the blinding plasma of our infancy. We are the echoes of a cosmic car crash. But here's the kicker. This cycle repeats. We're just one link in an eternal chain of transformation and rebirth.
Our membrane is doomed to be struck again, resetting reality in intense new fire of creation. Sleep tight.
Mathematically, once inflation starts, it never stops everywhere. It began in a high-energy state called the false vacuum.
This unstable field doubled in size every nanosecond, fueled by a repulsive energy that makes gravity look like a joke.
In this violently expanding ocean of space, quantum fluctuations would occasionally cause the energy field.
Think of a pot of boiling water. The water is the false vacuum, and the bubbles are regions where inflation suddenly stopped.
That fireball is a Big Bang. Our universe is merely one of these tiny bubbles in a much larger cosmic sea.
But outside our bubble, the false vacuum is still there. It is still expanding at an exponential rate.
The space between bubbles expands much faster than the bubbles can grow, so they rarely ever collide.
This means the Big Bang wasn't a unique event. It was just a localized phase transition in an eternal process.
Beyond our horizon, an infinite number of other Big Bangs have happened, are happening now, and will continue forever.
These Big Bangs spawn infinite pocket universes, each with its own wild laws of physics and unique fundamental constants. It's a cosmic lottery.
We're trapped in our own little bubble, drifting through a boiling ocean of reality.
Number 2, the CPT symmetric universe. Physics relies on fundamental symmetries, the hidden rules that keep the entire cosmos running smoothly.
Quantum rules say if you flip all 3, matter, space, and time, the universe should still tick along exactly as it does now.
Imagine swapping matter for antimatter and mirroring every dimension while reversing time. The math says it's a perfect, identical reflection.
The equations demand this perfect balance, yet when we peer into the void, that symmetry is nowhere to be found. It's a cosmic mystery.
We're surrounded by matter, with almost zero antimatter in sight. Plus, time only marches forward, never looking back. Where did the balance go?
Math demands balance. This theory suggests the Big Bang didn't just spawn our world, it birthed a perfect mirror image to keep the cosmic books even.
Forget a single line. Imagine the Big Bang as the narrow neck of a cosmic hourglass, where reality flows in 2 opposite directions simultaneously.
The singularity, time fractured. One half is our home, expanding into the future and filled with the normal matter we see every day.
But the other half? An anti-universe racing into our past, where every fundamental rule is flipped upside down and inside out.
It's pure antimatter, mirrored in space, and, here's the kicker, time there flows backward. To them, we are the ones living in reverse.
Number 1, the multiverse. We've reached the edge of physics. Tracing reality back through the math leads us to the mind-bending realm of string theory.
Strings need extra dimensions, 10 or 11 of them. They're all tightly curled into microscopic complex shapes called Calabi-Yau manifolds. Can you even imagine that?
Noah, these shapes are the cosmic blueprints. They decide everything. The weight of an electron, the pull of gravity. But there's a catch.
String theory doesn't produce one shape. It produces 10 to the 500th power configurations. That's a 1 with 500 zeros.
This is the string landscape. Before our Big Bang, there was no void, just this churning.
Most universes here are born fallen. If gravity is slightly stronger, the Big Bang instantly collapses back.
If the strong nuclear force is slightly weaker, atoms never form. You're left with nothing but an expanding mist of lonely subatomic particles.
This leads to the chilling anthropic principle. Why is our universe perfectly tuned for stars, carbon, and...
We are the ultimate survivorship bias. We only exist because this specific bubble permitted us to. If it hadn't, we wouldn't be here to observe it.
What existed before the Big Bang was an intense, incomprehensible engine of infinite alien realities.
We just happened to grow in the one microscopic crack in the landscape where the math didn't instantly powerful force us out of existence. Sleep tight!